Hey everyone, and welcome back. Are you ready to unlock some serious brain power? Because today, we're diving deep into the latest scientific breakthroughs in learning and memory. All
Yeah.
those like aha moments that just completely change how we think about learning.
Right.
Well, we're going to uncover some seriously practical strategies to optimize your learning no matter what you're trying to master.
Well, what's so exciting is that we're moving beyond these traditional methods and really starting to tap into the brain's natural rhythms, you know?
It really is like we finally started to crack the code to learn faster and remember more.
Yeah,
And honestly, some of these discoveries are pretty wild.
totally.
We're talking 12.5-minute memory cycles, hacking sleep for knowledge, and even using sound to boost memory.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
Where do we even begin?
Well, let's start at the heart of it all, memory formation.
Okay.
Forget that old idea of memory as this continuous process.
Okay.
Stanford researchers have actually found that our brains consolidate memories in cycles.
Cycles, like a washing machine?
Well, not quite, but there are distinct phases to it.
Yeah.
And get this, each cycle is only 12.5 minutes long.
Wait, so every 12.5 minutes, our brain is like, save button
Yeah.
on whatever we're learning.
Yeah, basically.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah.
And within each of those cycles, there's like a prime time for learning.
Uh-huh.
They call it this peak plasticity window. It happens between minutes 3 and 5.
Okay.
That's when the connections in your brain are just like the most receptive to new information.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to learn something new, those first few minutes are critical.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Any distractions during that window can really hinder retention.
Yeah.
It's almost like imagine trying to write on a whiteboard that's constantly being erased. Like that's what interference did to these new memories.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we make the most of these 12.5-minute cycles then? It's like we need a new study playbook.
It's a new playbook. Think of it as like a 12.5-minute learning sprint. 3 to 5 minutes of focused learning, then 4 to 6 minutes to just let it sink in,
Okay,
and finally a short 2 to 3 minute break.
gotcha.
Then you're ready for the next round.
I'm already seeing how this could change my routine.
Yeah,
But hold on, it's more.
there is.
You mentioned something about synaptic tagging earlier. What was that?
So it's like our brains have this highlighting system.
Okay.
Researchers at MIT found that there are these specific proteins, think of them like tiny little flags.
Uh-huh.
They mark the important things that we learn,
Okay.
and they stick around for like a couple of hours. And each time you revisit that information, it's like waving those flags,
Yeah.
making the memory stronger.
So multiple encounters within a specific time frame boost memory.
Exactly.
Okay.
Makes sense.
It makes total sense.
And this brings us to this really cool new technique
Okay.
called temporal spaced repetition, or TSR.
Okay, TSR.
Yeah.
Is that like a supercharged study schedule?
You got it. So it works like this. You have an initial 5-minute exposure to the material,
Okay.
then a 30-minute break,
So-
and finally a 90-minute break before you revisit the information.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like tapping into the rhythm of those protein flags.
So instead of cramming one, we're strategically spacing out our learning.
Exactly.
It sounds a lot less stressful, honestly.
It is, and way more effective.
Oh.
Studies have actually shown that TSR can lead to almost 3 times better retention compared to traditional spaced repetition.
Wow, that's huge.
It is.
But before we get too carried away with all this new knowledge,
Right.
we need to talk about something just as important.
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot for our brain's capacity.
You're talking about cognitive load optimization? It's
Yeah.
like Goldilocks in the porridge.
Yes.
Not too much. You're not too little, but just the right amount of information for peak learning.
That's the perfect analogy. So how do we find that perfect balance?
Well, Stanford researchers have found that the sweet spot for learning lies somewhere between 65 and 75% of our maximum capacity.
Okay.
So if you go above 80%,
Yeah.
your brain's like an overloaded circuit.
Oh,
It just can't process everything.
right.
But if you stay below 60%, it's not challenging enough to spark those strong connections.
So it's a delicate dance between challenge and overload.
It is.
How do we know when we've hit that sweet spot?
It's about being mindful of how you're feeling.
Okay.
Are you engaged but not overwhelmed?
Okay.
Are you making connections but not feeling fried?
Right.
That's the zone you want to be in.
Gotcha.
And here's a tip. Try dual coding.
Cool coding.
Yeah.
Sounds high tech.
It's actually pretty simple.
Okay.
It's all about using both visual and verbal learning.
Uh-huh.
Think diagrams, images, videos, anything that engages both sides of your brain.
Right.
Studies show it can boost retention by a whopping 35%.
That's amazing. That's like giving your brain a multi-sensory workout. This is all so fascinating. We've uncovered these amazing insights about memory cycles, synaptic tagging, and even how to optimize our cognitive load.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling like a learning ninja.
You're getting it, and we're just getting started.
Awesome.
What's next? Next up, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and often overlooked tools for supercharged learning: sleep.
Ooh. Okay, let's talk about sleep.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Okay, so sleep. How can sleep supercharge our learning?
Well, the Harvard Sleep Lab has been doing some really fascinating research.
Oh, cool.
And they found that different REM sleep cycles actually have different specialties.
Wait, so each sleep cycle has a specific job when it comes to learning?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
it is. Think of it this way.
Right.
The first REM cycle is like your emotional processing time.
Okay.
The second is for consolidating facts. And the third cycle, that one's prime time for skill development.
So it's not just about the total hours of sleep, but also about making sure we're cycling through these different stages.
Exactly. And there's even more to it. Researchers have actually pinpointed specific sleep phase timings that are linked to certain cognitive functions.
Okay. I'm definitely taking notes.
All right, so between 10:30 p.m. and midnight,
Yeah.
that's when your brain is in emotional regulation mode.
Okay.
From midnight to 1:30 a.m., it's all about memory consolidation.
Gotcha.
Then from 1:30 to 3:00 a.m., it's time for neural repair and cleanup.
Uh-huh.
And finally, between 3:20 and 4:30 a.m., your brain focuses on integrating all that new information.
Wow, it's like a sleep schedule optimized for learning.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask, is there anything we could do to enhance these processes even further?
There is, have you heard of targeted memory reactivation, or TMR?
TMR.
Yeah.
That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Well, it is pretty cutting edge.
Okay.
It involves using specific sounds during sleep to actually reactivate and strengthen memories.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, researchers have actually found that playing 40 hertz binaural beats during both study sessions and slow wave sleep can boost memory retention by a remarkable 90%.
90%. So it's like giving our brains a soundtrack for learning even while we're sleeping.
It is, and it really highlights this incredible potential of leveraging sleep to enhance our learning. Now, even with all these incredible strategies,
Right.
we have to acknowledge that life happens. We all experience stress.
Yeah, for sure.
And stress can definitely get in the way of learning.
That's so true. Stress can make my brain feel like scrambled eggs. Is there a scientific reason for that?
There is stress directly impacts our cortisol levels.
Okay.
And, they fluctuate throughout the day. In the morning, we naturally have higher cortisol, which actually helps us with learning. Optimal levels are around 14 to 16 micrograms per deciliter. As the day goes on, those levels naturally drop.
Okay.
By the evening, lower levels, around 3 to 5 micrograms per deciliter, are actually beneficial for emotional regulation.
So our bodies are naturally set up for different types of brain work at different times of day.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
It is, but chronic stress can throw these levels all out of whack.
Right.
And that's where things get tricky for learning.
Okay, so if stress is the villain, what are our superhero tools to fight back and keep our brains in learning mode?
Well, one really powerful technique is called the neural breathing pattern, or NBP.
NBP, okay.
Yeah, it's a simple breathing exercise that can significantly reduce stress and boost memory formation.
I'm all about simple but effective, so how does it work?
It's a 4-second inhale, a 6-second hold, and then an 8-second exhale. Practicing this regularly can lower your cortisol levels by like a whopping 40%.
Just by changing how we breathe.
Yep, it's incredible, and it gets even better.
Okay.
NBP can also increase memory formation by an amazing 60%.
Wow, so it's a double whammy against stress and a boost for learning. But what about those times when we're just fried? Is there a science-backed way to just hit the reset button on our brains?
There is. It's called taking cognitive recovery intervals, or CII.
CII, what's that?
So it's all about strategically scheduling breaks during work or study sessions for complete mental rest. The magic ratio here is 52 minutes of focused work, followed by 17 minutes of downtime.
So we're not talking about checking emails or scrolling through social media, right?
Yeah, at all.
Okay.
This is about truly unplugging. Go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, anything that lets your mind wander and de-stress.
I like the sound of that. What kind of impact can these CRIs have on our learning?
Studies have shown that CRI can actually lead to a 300% improvement in information retention.
300%. That's insane. I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's not just about pushing our brains to the limit,
Right.
but it's also about giving them the space and rest they need to truly thrive.
That's a great insight. It's like training for a marathon.
Yeah.
You need those rest days for your muscles to repair and grow stronger.
Right.
It's the same for our brains.
Okay, that makes sense. We've covered so much in this deep dive already, from memory cycles and sleep
All
optimization
right.
to stress management techniques and those incredible recovery intervals. It's almost like we're building a toolkit for becoming super learners.
We are.
And so far, we've really been focusing on the individual aspects of learning. But in the final part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring another critical dimension of learning that's often overlooked:
Okay.
social and emotional learning.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've heard that our emotions and relationships can have a huge impact on our ability to learn.
They absolutely do, and we'll be diving into all the latest research on how to cultivate a learning environment that supports not just our cognitive abilities, but
Yeah.
also our emotional well-being and social connections.
Also, I can't wait. All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the science of learning.
Yeah,
We've covered a lot of ground already,
we have.
from memory acts to the power of sleep.
Right.
But now we're stepping into a dimension of learning that's often overlooked, absolutely essential: the social and emotional side of things.
Yeah, it's like we've been focusing on the hardware of the brain, and now we're tuning in to the software,
Yeah.
the emotions, relationships, and sense of self that play such a huge role in how we learn.
It makes total sense when you think about it. We've all had those moments
Right.
where stress or anxiety
Yeah.
just completely shut down our ability to focus.
Exactly. And on the flip side, when we feel safe, supported, and connected,
Yeah.
our brains are primed for learning.
Yo.
There's a growing body of research now
Yeah.
that's showing the incredible impact of positive emotions and a sense of belonging on our ability to learn and grow.
So it's not just about cramming information, but about creating a learning environment that nurtures our whole being.
That's a great way to put it. And this is where social and emotional learning, or SEL, comes in.
The SEL.
Yeah, it's a framework that helps people develop these essential life skills.
Okay.
Like self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making.
So it goes way beyond the classroom.
These skills go way beyond the classroom. They're really like the foundation for success in all areas of life.
So how do we actually put SEL into practice? Are there specific techniques or strategies we can use to cultivate these essential skills?
Absolutely. One really powerful approach is mindfulness training.
Oh, mindfulness.
Yeah, it's all about developing this heightened awareness of the present moment, our thoughts, emotions, sensations.
Yeah.
But without judgment, I've heard a lot about mindfulness, but I'm curious to know how it actually works in practice.
So it's a form of mental training
Mm,
that helps us become more aware of our inner experience
right.
and develop the ability to regulate our emotions.
Exactly. Imagine
Wow.
you're trying to learn something new, but your mind is racing with worries.
Right.
Mindfulness can help you notice those thoughts, acknowledge them, and then gently shift your focus back to the task at hand.
So by becoming more present and aware,
Yeah.
we gain greater control over our emotions and reactions.
Exactly. That emotional regulation is crucial for learning.
Yeah.
When we can manage stress and anxiety, our brains are free to focus on absorbing new information and making those connections.
It's like clearing out the mental clutter to make space for learning.
Exactly. And you mentioned it has other benefits too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Mindfulness has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety, improve focus and attention, and even enhance empathy and compassion.
Wow.
It's something that we can cultivate through regular practice, even just a few minutes each day.
I'm definitely going to give that a try.
Yeah.
But SEL isn't just about individual skills. It's also about fostering a sense of belonging and connection.
Right. You're right. Humans are social creatures.
Yeah.
We thrive in environments where we feel connected, respected, and supported.
Makes sense.
Creating that sense of community is really key for learning.
So how do we actually build that village in learning environments then?
Well, it starts with fostering a culture of collaboration, empathy, and respect,
Oh.
where everyone feels safe to share ideas, ask questions, and even make mistakes.
Right.
Imagine a classroom or a workplace where people feel comfortable taking risks and learning from each other.
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens.
That sounds like an amazing environment to learn and grow in.
It is.
It's more than just absorbing information. It's about becoming a part of something bigger.
Exactly. And these principles apply to any learning environment, from schools to workplaces to our own families.
That's cool.
It's about creating this culture where learning is valued and supported at every level.
This has been such an incredible journey.
It has.
We've explored the fascinating science of learning, from memory and cognition to the power of technology and the importance of social and emotional well-being.
And it's clear that learning is this lifelong journey of growth and discovery. It's about so much more than just memorizing facts. It's about cultivating our full potential as human beings.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
If we could redesign our education systems and workplaces with these new insights in mind,
Right.
what kind of world could we create?
That's a powerful question. I think we could create a world where learning isn't just about acquiring knowledge. What about developing wisdom, compassion, and the ability to make a positive impact?
That's a beautiful vision, and it all starts with understanding how our brains learn best.
Right.
By embracing these new discoveries about learning and applying them in our own lives,
Yeah.
we can make that vision a reality. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the new science of learning.
It was a pleasure.
We hope you feel empowered to unlock your full learning potential.
Absolutely.
Remember, learning is a superpower. Embrace it, nurture it, and never stop exploring. Until next time, happy learning.
Bye, everyone.